I am a client service manager here at Kandu Industries. I've been here for just over 2 years. I started here in October of 2018. So I've worked with this population for 8 years before I was here. So it's been about a decade of working with adults with disabilities. Um, my favorite part about working here is coming in every day. These guys always have a story to tell you. Seeing their growth, the skills that they learn, their passions, their desires, especially on days like payday. They're so proud to get that paycheck, and it shows, they see their worth, and they're so proud to have contributed to society like you and I, and getting a paycheck like we do, and they go and pay bills and they go shopping and they get to spend money on things that they want to spend money on. They love that aspect. I love that they have such a large variety of work to complete. Maybe not the variety that they want all the time, but we all have aspects of our job that we don't necessarily like. So they're learning how to cope with, the goods and the bads of having a job. And I love seeing that balance in them more with that in a sense. I love how much fun we have. Like sometimes, we're just working along and we're having silly conversations, or we're dancing along to music, and they're telling jokes, and those are like the things that just kind of keep them going through the day and keep me going too. No matter how much work I have to get done and how much work they have to get done, we find a way to get on through it. What I've learned since working at Kandu is, my 8 years prior to working here in residential, I got to see them in their homes and what they were like with their housemates and their day to day, lives. But here, I get to see them interact with their peers and supervisors and larger groups of people and in more stressful situations. Because they have expectations at work that are very different from the expectations at home. And so that's brought a whole new light. And then I've also learned more about their lives in the community and what they have maybe stacked against them. So I've kind of learned to be a bigger advocate for this population and to fight for their rights and their choices and their freedoms that I hadn't really given much thought to back when I worked in the residential area of their lives. I think that the biggest challenges that I've had to overcome since being at Kandu was learning how to balance the needs of, the whole interdisciplinary team, to fight for what the client wants, to fight for what we want for the client, what their care managers want for them, what their guardians or their caregivers, want for them, because we all have our own kind of goals for this individual in a sense, but really what matters is the client's goals, and helping to find a way to merge all of those, their needs and their wants, their desires into a plan that we can all work together towards, achieving. That's kind of been the hardest part, especially with, things that are stacked against you. There's only so much in a budget that we can do. There's only so much time. I only have at most 7 hours with each of these individuals, and there's only so much that you can fit in 7 hours, and I can't control what happens in their home, just like their homes can't control what happens here. And so it takes a lot of collaboration, a lot of really thorough communication, and just working together. And that's not always the easiest thing to do at times. So my biggest point to go home for these clients is that any one of these guys could tell you about the discrimination and segregation and oppression that they face on a day-to-day basis. Whether we want to open our eyes to it or not, that's their reality on a day-to-day basis. But they have the same rights, the same human, civil, legal, basic human rights that we have. That's no different, and yet they still face this level of discrimination that is just so profound, especially in the work sector. So these guys want to go to work just like you and I. Work gives us a meaning to our lives sometimes. Whether we want to admit it or not, we all wake up so many days a week. We get up, we go to work. It is a huge part of our days. It's no different for these guys. In fact, in a sense, more of them want to work more than some of us do, because they want to feel just like you and I. They want to contribute to society. They want to be proud of their work. They have the ability, the desire, the willingness to be a part of this life, and they just need that somebody to give them that chance, that opportunity to succeed. You know, they just need the push from us to get them going.